Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. My name is Luke. I'm the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media and Giant Campus. It is Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. We have a great show ahead for you today. Let's have a quick look at what's going on in the news at the moment. So first off, it's a week that saw the Eat Out to Help Out scheme lower the UK inflation rate to a 5-year low. It was seen that the country got a little bit more affordable. Good things. In other news, during the Apple event last night, Apple launched a Fitness Plus service with its new watch. So there's no excuse now, people. So get on those exercises, close those rings. And in some definitely unusual news, Kim Kardashian has decided to boycott her life source of Instagram today for the Stop Hate for Profit campaign. She's always trying to break the internet somehow. It's Wednesday. It's beer o'clock. So let's get down to business as unusual. Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. If you're joining us on LinkedIn or YouTube or any of the other social channels, please do check out the other content that we have as well. So if you're interested in understanding more about digital marketing, making those first steps or taking the next steps in your digital journey, please do check out our content. We've got loads of stuff that we've been pushing out, as well as some free talks. So please do hang around. For those of you new, my name is Luke. I'm the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media, and this is the Business as Unusual show, where we're going to explore some new topics, hopefully share some ideas, some inspiration, so that we can reinvent as we enter this new world. And today's guest, we have Daniel Creasey from Panasonic. There's a LinkedIn master as well with his own personal brand. So let's introduce Daniel now. Daniel, how are you doing?
Hey Luke, I'm good.
Master.
I don't know about
That's what I've
master,
been
but
told.
I'm persistent, or at least consistent on there. I'm on there a lot, basically.
During work hours,
So, yeah.
or does it classify as work, or is this just?
I count it as work. Yeah, I think I get away with it just about. I slip in something about Panasonic every
just
now and
hashtag
again.
Panasonic at the end of everything. Amazing, nice.
Yeah,
So
basically.
could you give a quick
I get
introduction
away
to
with it.
yourself and the role that you have within Panasonic?
Yeah, so I work at Panasonic, but I work within the B2B part. So that includes things like our projectors, our security cameras, all that sort of thing. But also, more importantly, the TOUGHBOOK area. So that's all our rugged laptops and tablets and things like that. So I do the marketing for our TOUGHBOOKs in the UK and Ireland.
Okay, good stuff. And can you explain? I mean, I know the name sort of gives it away, but can you explain the TOUGHBOOK? What is it? What's it all about?
Yeah, so
Okay,
well, they're
and
tough.
is it a book?
And
No, it's not. Hang
yeah,
on.
the idea is so yeah, the idea is they're for businesses, they're for enterprises, they're anywhere where you're using tech outside the four walls, basically. If you're sitting at a desk doing typing, you don't need a TOUGHBOOK. But if you're running around delivering packages or doing your Ocado delivery or going out to war or something, you're going to need something that's a bit tougher. So that's where we sort of play for those sort of companies that are going to get dirty and wet and knock them around,
Amazing. And
basically.
I'm guessing that there has to be some pretty cool pretty cool examples that the TOUGHBOOK has been used in. Have you got any kind of examples, any cool stats that you can hit us with?
Yeah, well, some of them could be dropped from 3 meters and they can go underwater for half an hour and things like that. Which actually, I was having a conversation with someone on LinkedIn today about their iPhone, saying it can go underwater for half an hour, and they found out it couldn't go underwater under a tap. So it's interesting that actually these are proper tough, I guess, and then there's sort of consumer tough. But we've done all sorts of cool things with them. So there's a video we did with Microsoft where we sent them into space. So we sent them up on big balloons, sent them into space, and then took nice photos of the Earth, and then popped them back down. They came flying down. They did have a parachute, but it came down pretty hard, and we found them, and then
That's cool.
they worked. So yeah, we've done some cool things like that. They're on the Gadget Show. Oh, it's probably a little while ago now, but they basically tried to destroy it and blowing it up and things. There was even one cool story where a TOUGHBOOK saved a soldier's life.
All right.
So he was out. I don't know where he was, but basically a sniper tried to shoot him, and his TOUGHBOOK deflected the bullet off.
Wow.
I don't think the TOUGHBOOK survived, but the man survived, so that's more important.
That's
I'd say.
I don't think
So
my
yeah,
laptop could
there's
do
all
that.
sorts of cool stuff.
I'm not going to put that to the test, and I don't ever want to put that to the test. But I'm pretty confident that my laptop would not be able to do that. And it wasn't Sean Staunton perhaps that you were talking to about his phone, was it by chance? Okay.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
He was.
yeah. I saw that coming. I thought, oh, this
Yeah.
is written for me, and I jumped right in.
I think Sean was again explaining to me that he knows that they're waterproof, but I think he used washing up detergent, and I think that causes problems. Steam and washing up detergent,
Oh,
I don't think.
That might
Yeah,
not help
so I
either.
think
Yeah.
he needs to get in touch, and as long as he doesn't break a work laptop, I'm good, to be honest with you. So, awesome. And so, how has the last sort of few months been? Or well, I say few months. We're now like what 4 months since things have kind of really been different, should we say? How has that kind of sort of been for you, the business, and your general kind of day-to-day activities?
Well, I'm meant to be field based, so I'm meant to be working from home, but because I don't know, just habit, I've always sort of gone into the office. So actually, working from home wasn't a huge issue, and for a lot of the company, it wasn't. We just upped sticks and went home. I mean, a lot of people took their chairs and even desks. I saw on the last day the office was closed, people were piling out all their stuff.
They took their
It was like the end of
desks.
the world. Um, yeah, I'm sure I saw desks and yeah, the sort of lumbar support from their chairs and all sorts. It was like the Black Friday things they have in America, where everyone riots and takes stuff out of or wherever it is their Target and whatnot. Um, so yeah, the adjustment wasn't so bad. And as a business, TOUGHBOOK, we support a lot of the sort of critical services. So your police, your fire, your ambulances. So all those guys who are still having to work really hard and weren't being furloughed. So and because of that, we were allowed to stay open and keep supporting them. So it kept us quite busy throughout that period. So it wasn't it was different, but it wasn't too difficult to change to working from home. I mean, I'm now stuck in the corner of my bedroom, which is less glamorous than my office with the glass, not my office, but our office with the glass walls and things. But apart from that, it's fine. But a bit like the guy from that what's that horror film where he's got a broken leg and he's looking through the blinds at the neighbours and things like that. I think
It's not
Simpsons did
like
a spoof
Scream
of
or
it.
something, is it?
Something like that. But yeah, you feel a bit like that, locked up in your room and looking at everyone having fun in the sun. Damn
So
you.
what is the business planning to go back into the office? What have they talked about that? Is it something you can kind of talk about in terms of their longer term plans?
Yeah, so they've started to open it up. So they've done a lot of work with moving desks around. So there's sort of 2 meter gaps between people and things like that. You have to go in a mask. It's one-way systems and things like that. So they're starting to slowly open it up. And if you want to go in, you can. And I think it will come to a period where sort of they agree that basically some people go in some days of the week and some people go in the other. But there's sort of no pressure to go back essentially, because I think everyone seems to be running quite smoothly.
Okay, yeah.
As it
So
is.
some really positive things there. Actually, that there's the trust aspect there as well. That businesses are kind of it seems to be a kind of a common thread, a common conversation that actually a lot of businesses are now going. You know what? Actually, things have worked really well in this environment, and there's a kind of almost like a split, so that you can come back, but you don't have to come back.
Yeah, and I mean, most companies have had the technology from work from anywhere for years. They just haven't. So it's sort of been useful to have that push, I guess, to start doing it, because we're seeing almost a revolution now, aren't we? People are saying, "Do we even need an office?"
Absolutely, yeah.
All?
No, it's an interesting one, and I don't quite know the answer. I think we do, and I think there's going to be a need for sort of obviously meeting space, but I think the function of the office is likely to change. I think the way that we kind of interact with it will likely change, which leaves it vague enough so it makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about, but actually don't really have a clue what that looks like. Yeah, it's good.
I'm good at that as
We're
well.
in marketing. That's what we do. That's what we do. I'm just going to jump to this. We have. Oh, hang on. No, it's too early to say a quote. No. It's the tenuous link. So again, chat. Please do feel free to play along. We're going to put you through your paces here in a very, very tenuous quiz. So it's really not going to test you in terms of your actual knowledge about the product, but it's about supersonic element. I don't quite understand the link, but I'm sure the guys will explain it to me. What year did the first supersonic flight first take place?
Ooh, 1952 looks good to me. I'm drawn to it.
1947.
Oh,
That was what I was going to
second
say,
guess.
unfortunately. Yeah. But it's good. Again, part of the show is it's educational. This is what we try to make sure that we cover all of the boxes. Bit of fun, bit of education.
Personal development as well. Yeah, I like it.
Right. Before Sega came along, what was the name of this character? Oh.
I did not know this. I hope it's Needle Mouse, but Mr. Red Shoes?
Let's go. Let's have a look. Mr. Needle Mouse.
What? Was Needle Mouse? That's an excellent name.
Even after Sega settled on the Hedgehog, an idea proposed by the head designer Naoto Oshima, the company tried out a confusing name for the character, Mr. Needle Mouse. Wow.
I love that. Despite being a hedgehog, let's see if we can call him a needle mouse. Excellent.
Confusing. Right, let's have a look. Next question. What was Panasonic's first product to market? Oh, really testing this.
Electric lamp sockets.
Oh!
Yes. Absolutely revolutionary back in the 1918s. Yeah. It's actually...
Go for it.
I'm going to bore you now. But actually, back in Japan, so in 1918 and that sort of time, so the power sockets came through the ceiling, a bit like our light sockets now. So every room would have one, or actually you probably have one in a house. So if you wanted to do something like, I don't know, iron at night, you'd unscrew the light bulb and then iron in the dark. So what we developed was basically a splitter for that. So you could do two things at once. So you could see and iron. And it's amazing because from that, it's grown into what it is today. So just a bit of boring history
that is incredible. I mean, it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, how do people not think that through? Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, obviously now in hindsight, that's a really logical problem to have solved. But at the time, it's like, oh no, we can only have a light or iron at the same time. It's.
Yeah. I'd love to know how many years they went by just doing that and just putting up with it, just burning themselves in the darkness and things. Going, this is a pain.
There's a statistic, isn't it? Or the fact around suitcases. So suitcases were invented however many years ago, and I don't know, was it 200 years? I don't know. I'm making this up. As someone's going to someone please fact check it and put it in chat. They then added wheels onto it, and it took such a long time just to add wheels to the suitcase. So yeah. There's still problems.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how we just put up stuff like that, isn't it?
Problems to be solved, and probably a few more at the moment that we need to work on. How old was Luke how old was I when this product dropped? It is the CF41.
Oh, my absolute favourite. I've got a lovely history story about this one as well. So how old were you? So this is 1994, so...
This is dangerous. This is when you call me really old. I'm not going to be offended. I feel too fair. I think when you run a business, it adds about 75 years to your face instantly. So it's not. I'm not going to be offended if you call me old. It's okay.
Were you 11?
Let's have a look. I was.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Okay, so was this one of the first iterations of the TOUGHBOOK?
Yes, this was. No idea why it's called CF41 and not just CF1. But so this is another cool history story. So actually the TOUGHBOOK brand started in the UK. So British Gas came to Panasonic, and so this shows how old it was. They wanted a DVD drive in a laptop, and this didn't exist back then. And because their guys were going around using them on the road, they didn't want it skipping and stuff. We basically created this whole laptop for them that was rugged, and you could lift up the keyboard, stick a DVD in. And then, it changed their world because they used to have a huge bag full of papers to do their job, and that was all on a revolutionary DVD. So then from there, we created more and more of these TOUGHBOOK products, and yeah, it all started in the UK. So if you go over to Japan and go to one of our factories, they've got like huge posters of Centrica and stuff. So yeah,
That
world
is
renowned, or at least in
incredible.
Japan. Yeah.
That's very, very cool. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. What's the name of this 1998 single and band?
Oh, I don't know, but they're handsome, aren't they? Oh, 1998.
I don't
What's in the background?
know.
Oh God. No
Should we just find out?
idea.
I don't know. Do you want to take a guess?
Yeah. Oh,
It's
I
got to
don't
be
think I
something
can.
Sonic related, I'm assuming. Because it's something to do with like Supersonic, Sonic.
Oh, Sonic. There was a band called the
Should we have a look?
Supersonics, wasn't there? Was it
Semisonic.
Jamiroquai?
What? Oh, single and
Semisonic.
band. Yeah, by who was that? Semisonic Closing Time. Yes, that's right. I can. Yeah, I do remember that. It's a good song. I do like that
I'll
song. In
listen to
fact,
that one tonight.
I could.
Yeah.
If you get to the DVD drive out on the book, we can find out. Guys, would you believe it? We are over halfway through, which means it is the halfway mark. Ah, the joys of the halfway mark. Mixing it up, Mark Wahlberg today. So we've talked a little bit about the past, sort of the challenges that you face. What do you think is going to be the next? I mean, very difficult question, I know, because this is a very changeable environment. But what do you think the sort of the world? Let's start with the world of work. What do you think the world of work is going to look like in the next sort of 3 to 6 months? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
3 to 6 months. um, well, it's hard to say, isn't it? I think it could be. I don't know. I mean, if we go into another general lockdown, then we're all going to have to scurry back to our houses again. So I think for the next few months, I think people are going to be very wary about even bothering trying to
Mm,
go back into the office because, especially in the UK, we seem to be a bit unpredictable at the moment. So I think for now, people are just going to be carry on at home
yeah.
as they can. I think it's just too unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen next week, let alone in
The
three
only
months. You know.
certainty is uncertainty right now. Is the vibe that I'm getting. What
Mm.
what do you think? What does that mean for marketing? What does that mean? How do businesses sort of do go about their marketing activities during this kind of the next in those uncertain times?
Um, well, I think when it all first happened, sort of back in March, the the sort of instant thing to do is stop and sort of wait until
Mm,
perhaps things get better or things change. Obviously, we had loads of events lined up, like in-person events that we had to
yeah.
cancel. So, yeah, there was a bit of that. There was a bit of a pause, and then everyone was like, "Well, we can't stop and not do anything for the whole year." So you just have to start firing back up again and doing what you were doing. Obviously, you have to basically change your whole plan for the year because a lot of it's based around things that you can't do anymore. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of I've seen a lot of people pitching virtual events and things like that. Um, we're going to be running one at
Okay.
some point as well. So it's interesting to see how people their
Mm,
take on them. Some trying to recreate the in-person event experience with like almost like a Sims type game where you could walk around. And there's varying levels of quality with that as well. Some of them are more like Lego bricks or like a poor old version of
yeah.
Sims, and some are very high quality and actually quite amazing.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it's interesting to see that. I've joined a few different ones to sort of get a feel for it because when we do ours, I want to try and have as much info, but it's still a bit of the wild west out
Mm,
there. People are running these events and not quite sure how to do them or what's the best way to do it, or as an attendee or as a sponsor, how you do them. So it's quite exciting in that sort of way because it's something completely new almost that's been thrust upon us.
and I
So
guess no,
I
no,
forgot
no.
what the
So
question
no,
was. I went
no,
off, but
you're fine. You're fine. It was looking at kind of the the changes of what on marketing specifically, and I guess there's some really good points there around kind of we talked a lot a bit about sort of restart up mentality, that kind of need for constant kind of reinvention, trying something new and looking at new ways to kind of to market yourself and develop your business, because actually what worked in the past doesn't necessarily work in the future because it may not be possible, or behaviors will have changed by that time as well. That's really interesting. I wonder what about the Oculus. The Oculus could feature because there's this kind of Sims version that already exists on that game. But so as long as everyone gets VR headsets owned and controlled by Facebook, awesome. Then then we can all do virtual events really easily.
Yeah, I think. I mean, that'll be the future. I mean, I've been looking at things like Google Cardboard and things for events to try and do something like that at a cheaper, more cost-effective route than a full-on Oculus. But yeah, I think they, yeah, there's going to have to be some VR and AR type um, influence in these events because we started doing webinars as well as soon as this all happened, and to start off with, people were very interested, but I think people have got bored very quickly of webinars, so you've got to change again and change them up and make them more interesting. So yeah, that's how we take sort of online marketing to the next level.
Have you seen the film Ready Player One by any chance?
No, I haven't.
It's a
I
really
really
good
want
film.
to though. It looks
I
like
think
something I enjoy.
we barely know each other, but I'm 100% confident that you will absolutely love that film. It kind of ties very much into that VR space, and yeah, again, could be. I mean, hopefully not like a sort of look into the future, but yeah, I think there's probably some similarities of what might happen.
Yeah.
So moving into social media.
Mhm.
You mentioned obviously
Yeah.
that you're on it a lot, and obviously it's all about tying it back to Panasonic, obviously. But what have you seen? Have you seen sort of the social media networks change? And I assume more particularly LinkedIn. But how have you seen the sort of the evolution of that over the last 3 months, 4 months, however long we've been doing this?
Um, well, there's a lot more people doing stuff. So people are always doing stuff, but a lot more people doing video as well, in particular. So people are taking that sort of leap and putting themselves on camera because, I've done bits and bobs, but it's absolutely terrifying. But then once you do it and it's out there, you sort of get over that fear quite quickly. So it's been nice seeing sort of normal people doing videos, especially on LinkedIn, giving advice, talking about what they're up to. So that's changed a lot. So I think because people are remote, they can take advantage of just using their phone, and people don't expect quite the high shiny quality that perhaps we did, 9 months ago. Now you can get away with using your phone, which are usually pretty high quality
Yeah.
anyway. So it's been quite nice to see that people taking that leap and
Great.
putting themselves
And
out there.
what have you seen in terms of, or what have you taken away? What are you doing more of? What do you like? What do you through your experiments on the platforms? What are the sort of things that you're taking away and saying, actually, that's worked really well. That's something you're going to do more of.
Yeah, well, I've been doing sort of taking LinkedIn seriously for like 18 months, and I've tried all sorts of different things. So I started off doing the quote thing where you stick a quote up.
We've got that coming up, by the way.
and
So
good. And there's people on LinkedIn especially who all they do is quotes. Every single day they do a quote from someone, and I just
LinkedIn Gold. It's LinkedIn
if I do
Gold
a quote,
quotes, just
yeah,
regurgitating it.
and you see the millions. Yeah, exactly. A day doesn't go by you don't see a quote from someone at Apple or some Tim or something like that. It's incredible. But so I tried that, and it was like, well, if I'm going to do a quote, I want it to be a quote that I feel a connection to, not just millions of quotes. So I did that for a bit. I tried to do funny pictures, tried to be serious, and then in the end, just sort of found my way, and it was just like, just do stupid, funny things, basically, which is sort of where I found my sort of niche. So I don't try to be smart and clever. I just do things that on a fly, really. So instead of planning it, so in the past I would use something like Buffer to schedule a load of posts, but now I don't do that. I see something. So the other day I threw a piece of toast on the wall and it left a Marmite mark. So I took a photo of that and that was a
how to get
post.
Marmite
So
off the wall as well.
yeah, so things like that. I think it just breaks up, especially LinkedIn, because a lot of it is very serious. So I think people like a bit of Marmite on the wall.
Absolutely. Well,
That's sort of where I am.
I'll tell you
I do it
what,
all on the fly,
that
basically.
is the perfect link to this next bit here, which is status quo. So this is, you talked about quotes,
Cool.
and there's loads of floating around, but this is now going to ask you the question of which one do you like, which one do you love, and which one do you hate? So which one would you snog, which one would you marry, and which one would you avoid of these inspirational quotes, which we will obviously plaster all over LinkedIn
Okay.
and claim as our own. So let's have a look first. Quote number 1: "It's never too late to be what you might have been." George Eliot, first one. Second one:
Yeah.
"Some people look for a beautiful place, others make a place beautiful." I'm not going to try to say that name because that will just not end well for me. And quote number 3:
Yeah.
"Happiness often sneaks in through a door you didn't know you left open." John Barrymore. So let's have a look at the three of them side by side. "It's never too late to be what you might have been." I really struggle reading these for some reason. "Some people look for a beautiful place, others make a place beautiful. Happiness often sneaks in through a door you didn't know you left open." Which one do you... Well, which, any of them jumping out at you?
I quite like the "it's never too late to be what you might have been." That's quite a good one. I'd probably marry that one. Some people look for a beautiful place, others make a beautiful place beautiful. Yeah, that one's quite cool. It's like not always green on the other side type thing. So snog, marry.
Yeah.
So marry the top one. Happiness often sneaks into a door you didn't know you left open. Oh,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like
I don't
that
like
one.
that one. Don't like the idea of
No.
open doors. Don't want anything sneaking in. So yeah, so I'd go marry, snog, avoid the open doors.
Nobody wants
Close
anything
those
sneaking
doors.
in. And I mean, that is a bit weird, isn't it?
No.
Happiness often sneaks in through a door that you didn't know you left open. I mean, does it? I mean, does it really? I mean, surely sometimes you kind of have to be a bit more conscious about that element as well.
Yeah. Whenever I've left open a door, a cat's come
Yeah,
in
not
or a
happiness.
fox. So not my
Yeah,
cat.
there's
So
not
I'm
many
not happy
times that
about
you
it.
leave a door. In fact, if the door's open here, then yeah, I just get sort of ransacked by my kids on a live show, and it is. I guess that is happiness. I suppose that is happiness in a format. But
That is true.
but
That is
yeah.
true. I
Okay.
quite like the top one.
And
We
what,
sort of,
as
as
I say,
I'm
what
getting on
is that?
now,
Because
it's
that's a
nice to know
personal
that.
statement. Is that because there's something that you? It's never too late to be what you might have been. Does that speak to you? Is there something you got planned? Don't tell Panasonic.
Yeah, I think it's just cool because I think when you're young, you think you got all the time in the world, and you get to sort of 30s like me, and some people can sort of feel like, right, well, I'm doing this now forever. But you can always change. And like, what did I see the other day? I think the average age of um, startup founders is something like 42.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think Jeff Bezos was, how old was he? He was like his 40s before he
Done all
started
right.
Amazon or something. So I think it's quite,
Done all
he's
right.
not done bad, has he? So I think it's quite nice to know that, yeah, you can always change what you got.
Yeah, I
So
like
I think
that.
that's
And I
quite a
think
cool one.
I think KFC, so Colonel Sanders, I think he was like 76 when it yeah, I think it's something like
Was
that when
he?
it originally took off. And there's a story about him approaching 999 chicken restaurants offering his recipe because it's a franchise, so he didn't own the store. He was just going in to sell his recipe, and he got 999 rejections. I think there might be a little bit of a fable developing here, but it was the 1,000th store that took him on board, and the rest is, of course, finger looking good, but not looking. They
Yeah.
can't say that now. I noticed they've changed their advertising. They're not allowed to say that with
No,
coronavirus.
just
No, you just can't.
finger
I
good?
don't think there's. I don't know.
Nothing with
Good.
fingers.
Just. I don't know, but I just know they're not allowed to say that. That is status quo, everybody. Some great
Oh,
selections there. We have run out of time. We have flown through that one, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Give us maybe 2 tips or 3 tips for LinkedIn. What would you say to somebody who is new to LinkedIn or personal branding, and they're just kind of going, you know what? How do I get started? Maybe leave us with a couple of tips.
I would say don't overthink it. I found that, number one, it takes up too much time. You don't have time to be planning every single post. I don't plan anything, and it probably comes across actually. But just just start trying to do something every day. And once you get into the habit of looking for things or thinking about things, before you know it, you're posting way too much a day. like me. So yeah, just try and challenge yourself to do it every day, and don't worry too much about what it is
Fail
you're
and fail
doing.
fast.
It
No,
sounds
no,
like global
fail
advice.
fast and move on.
Yeah,
I love it. Great way to spend. Thank you
it's
very
true.
much, Daniel. It's been an absolute pleasure, and best of luck with your LinkedIn crusade and also with the marketing of a ridiculously awesome product as well. So thanks very much.
Oh, thank you, Luke. Cheers. Thanks for having me. It's been
Excellent, guys. That is it from us today. And just to conclude as well, we have a comment in the chat from Adam. Apparently, KFC have changed to "It's forking good." I hope that's not a stitch up, Adam. But apparently, that's what they've changed away from finger licking good. So anyway, it's been a pleasure. It's been a mad, crazy week. We are living in some strange times, but of course, it is just business as unusual.